Hello everyone, my name is Braden and I'm with the American Stroke Foundation. I'm also a second year occupational therapy student at the University of Kansas Medical Center. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about goal setting, and this is a follow-up to my previous life skills presentation. My previous life skills presentation was about change. So let's go ahead and get started, but if you haven't listened to the first presentation about change, I suggest you go back and you give that a listen before you go ahead and get going with this one. Why should we set goals? Well, setting goals gives us something to work towards in our lives. It also provides us with some structure, so it gives us that long term vision, but yet provides us with that short term motivation to help us get things done. Setting goals also helps us organize our time and our resources. And when we do this, it helps us make the most out of our lives. There are many different ways to write a goal, but today I'm going to talk to you about SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And I believe that if you can write a goal incorporating all of these aspects, then you'll be well on your way to achieving your goals. In other words, I like to think of specific as the details. We want to try and be as detailed as possible when we write these goals. The measurable, that's how much. So that could be a certain amount of weight or a certain amount of times a week. The attainable, how realistic is it? Are you allowing yourself enough time to achieve those goals? The relevance, how much do I care about that? Is that a goal that I made myself, or is that a goal that maybe my friends or my family have for me, and I might not care as much about that? We want to try and focus on goals that we care about. And then time based. That's just how long or when. So that's just setting yourself a time frame as to when you want to try and reach your goal. This slide here is just some tips and tricks to help you all reach your goals. So the first thing is I want you all to break your larger goals down into smaller ones. This helps them become much more attainable. Another thing you can do is create to-do lists. This is very helpful when you're trying to do a lot of things in a short amount of time. It's also very helpful to pull on our support systems. So whether it's asking a friend or a family member for help. It's also important that we write down our goals. This helps make them much more concrete. And when we write these goals, it's important to use positive language and to focus on performance, not outcome. We should also try and be as precise as we can when writing our goals. So this kind of goes back to the SMART goals in general, but we want to provide ourselves with both dates and times. And then when we have a list of goals we want to achieve, we want to make sure we prioritize that list. Making the connection. So like I said before, it's really important that you've gone back and listened to my previous presentation about change, because we're going to talk a little bit about that now. So this all relates back to change because it has to do with the elephant, the rider, and the path. And when we write goals, we want to provide ourselves with clarity, just like we must provide the rider with clarity. We also want to be motivated to reach our goals. We want to make sure that we're trying to reach goals that we want to do, not necessarily what someone else wants us to do. So we want to create that desire for the elephant. It's also important that we don't scare the elephant off. So when we have large, lofty goals, we want to try and break those down into smaller, more attainable goals. And then finally, we want to have a clear path to reaching our goals. So we just want to remove the obstacles from our path. So on this slide are going to be some examples of poorly written goals and really well written goals and everything in between. So, I will lose weight. That's a great goal, but it's not written all that well. So a little bit better way to write this would be, I will lose 5 pounds by March 31st. This gives us something that's measurable and gives us a time frame. However, if we take it a step further and say, I will lose 5 pounds by March 31st by switching from whole milk to 1% milk. This gives us both something that is measurable, a time frame, and gives us exactly what we're going to do to reach our goals, which is switching from whole milk to 1% milk. So, I will eat healthier. Once again, a really good and lofty goal, but not that well written. It doesn't really give us that clarity that we need. So, I will eat a serving of fruits and vegetables every day. Okay, it's getting a little bit better, but let's try. I will eat healthier by eating a full serving of fruits and vegetables 7 days a week by March 31st. Now that goal hits all of the marks. It gives us something that's measurable, it's definitely attainable, gives us the time frame, and it's very clear on how we're going to reach our goal. Okay, now it's my turn. So, for my goal, I want to focus on going to the gym more often. So, the specific part of my goal is I want to make gym part of my daily routine, or go to the gym 5 days a week. The measurable part is I want to go for at least 50 minutes a day or 250 minutes a week. Then I ask myself, is this goal attainable? And yes, it is. I have time to go to the gym in the mornings. Then the relevance of this goal is that summer is coming up and going to the gym is good for me. And then I think it's very possible for me to work this into my daily schedule by March 31st. So, when I write this goal out, it reads, I will go to the gym in the mornings for 50 minutes, 5 days a week, for a total of 250 minutes a week to be healthier. Now it's your turn. So, when you write your goal, I want to make sure that's something that you really care about, something that you think that you can get done here in maybe the next month or so. So, all in all, make sure you are specific, you have something that's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant to you, and it's also time based. So, you give yourself a timeline for that goal. And make sure you write the whole goal out and you write it down. And because we all know when you write goals down, they become much more concrete, and then we're much more likely to reach those goals. Okay, so that wraps everything up for me here. If you need to go back and look at my previous slides that help you out, go right on ahead. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out, and happy goal writing.